Thank you. Thank you, Jan. Good afternoon or good morning. So it's still good morning for 15 minutes. Well, yes, first of all, a few words about the unit and the unit I'm working. I'm coming from Luxembourg, and I am acting head of a unit which is called Inclusion, Skills and Youth. And it covers three aspects which are very important for the digital society. The first is about promoting the use of digital education, so using digital tools to improve learning and to modernize education. And as part of that endeavor, we do promote the development of age research, age digital education tools for people and children with disabilities. The second strand of activity is called Better Internet for Kids, where we do support, let's say, if you want, the way in which technology can empower our kids, but we do also look at the risks that the internet poses, and specifically we try to avoid or to curb down the exposures to harmful content and harmful behavior online. So part of our activity is to support the safer internet centers across member states in Europe. And the third strand, which is very much relevant to the discussion today, it's about inclusions, and specifically on e-inclusion. And there we do focus on two major issues. One is policy-wise, the Web Accessibility Directive, and the other one is financial support at European level. So what I'm going to do today, I will go through the activities in support of research and innovation technologies for people with disabilities. So I will provide you some examples of what we have done in the past, and I will go through the open opportunities that we will have towards the end of the year, and what will come out, let's say, between the end of the year and the beginning of next year. First, what are the instruments that we use at the European Commission and specifically our units? There are two major instruments. One, it's a policy legislation initiative that we supervise, and the other instrument is, as I said, financial support. Where do we apply that for our e-inclusion strategy? We apply that into, I would say, four major areas. First, making sure that ICT is accessible, and we include that the web. So our policy legislative instruments is the Web Accessibility Directive. The financial support is supporting projects that make the technologies easier to make accessible. And that includes the work of the W3C, as we will see later on. We do have a specific strands of activities on leading edge technologies for what we call assistive technologies, and I will show you some examples of those applied to a spectrum of disabilities. We do also work for social inclusion and for the marginalized people, and the other elements in which we apply financial support is skills and digital skills. So I started with the Web Accessibility Directive. I mean, it was proposed some years ago by the European Commission in 2012. It was discussed by the European Parliament and the Council, and we have arrived on the 3rd of May to a political agreement. So by the end, I guess, by the end of this year, this will become law. And the Web Accessibility Directive means that websites and mobile apps owned by public sector bodies will have to make so member states should provide to make them accessible. And there is an explicit reference to standards, specifically to European standard, which is linked to the WCAG guidelines. I will not talk about the Web Accessibility Directive, but you will see why I mentioned it. Well, it's relevant, but it's also relevant for research and innovation activities. So when it comes to this, let's say, financial support, what do we do? Well, the Commission supports projects that are created or that are made by consortia composed of at least 3 partners from 3 different countries. So we do support projects at European level. So the idea is to put together the best practices, the best minds, to push forward the state-of-the-art of technology that would help people with disabilities. We've been doing this now for a number of years. I have been involved directly in research and innovation technologies for ICT and people with disabilities over the last 5 years. The majority of our projects, they relate to, let's say, certainly to technologies for the visually impaired and for motor impairment. These are, let's say, the bulk that they make the, let's say, I would say 40% of our projects. But there are other projects in learning or specifically dealing with assistive technology that address intellectual development disabilities. They do address autistic spectrum disorders, dyslexia, dyskinetics, and other elements, and other disabilities, including the Down syndrome. So I will show you some examples on that. We worked already with the stakeholders to try to put together the different stakeholders that contribute to these activities, and we also, with let's say with less emphasis as the technology, which we also looked at the social aspects. So what are how can we involve the carers in research as part of our let's say e-inclusion strategy? So the few projects or a few examples. The most let's say financially supported cluster is the one on brain-computer interfaces. The idea there is to develop first the interface that would capture the intentions from the brain, transfer those intentions to a prosthesis or an engineered solutions that would support either a motor, let's say, as we see, you see the exoskeleton that would help people that have suffered from, for instance, strokes to regain working abilities, or to control the environment itself. Brain-computer interfaces evolved, it says brain-computer, but also neural interfaces. It means that the signals are captured either directly from the brain or also from the neural, from nerves that are residual abilities that can be detected from nerves. Another example is related to intellectual disabilities. One of the projects called Able to Include is developing a solution that translates. It's a language technology automation tool. Translates text to pictogram for people with intellectual disability. It does also translate texts from, let's say, the original version to an easy-to-read versions, and supports text-to-speech technology. So what do they do eventually? They create a sort of layer between technologies that are used normally, I would say Facebook or Twitter, so that there is this layer translates in a way that facilitates people with disabilities the engagement with these technologies. The examples is the use of pictograms. So you use a sentence, and that sentence is translated into pictograms to facilitate understanding, and vice versa. So from pictogram to text to text. The BNCI, it is the BNCI community, so the brain and neural computer interface community is very big, and has developed technologies which are facilitating really the re-engagement of people that otherwise would not have that possibilities. One of these projects is called Back Home. This is not about restoring functionalities for rehabilitation purposes, just for re-engaging into normal life. The project has developed a wireless, you see, system that detects impulses from the skull, over the skull, and through that it's able to understand the intentions of people, and it enables controlling things. Now, in this case, it's controlling a lamp. What I have seen demonstrated in real life is just incredible. There was a lady that when she got 57, she was diagnosed the SLA, so the amyotrophic syndrome disorders, and in 2 years' time she couldn't move any of anything but just head and speak. She could speak. That's the only thing that she could do. She was a painter, and of course she lost the ability. The project engaged her in the test. And what they did, they used the systems that they developed to let her paint again. So she could move the cursor on the screen with thoughts. She could pick a color, draw something, and create again an artistic expression, but this time mediated by technologies. And I was fortunate because I was attending a review, and a bank in Germany had given her the possibilities to show her new. Her new, if you want, productions or creations of it, and that was incredible. The same happens in a number of other projects. Now, this for together with the projects on technologies and brain-computer technologies, we have technologies that would mediate the use of commonplace technologies like mobile phones, televisions. What is the idea here? That there is a cluster of projects that are looking at how we can personalize, we can use the features that the new technologies have for the benefits of people, so to personalize those on the basis of the needs of every individual people. So at the end, what is this? Imagine that, all the new technologies will be, if you want, be certified to comply to a certain standards, which include accessibility features. Then if that device complies to that standard, it will, through a particular token or a smart card, I could tell the technology what are my needs, and the technologies will adapt automatically. So that is an endeavor which is supported by a cluster of 2 projects with a significant global range, because it's not just European, this spans across the ocean, and they are all working together for the global public inclusions infrastructures, the GPII as it is called. Another example is the blind pad. We heard this morning that there is a problem with screens, that there is an issue, that there is no tactile feedback. Now, one of our projects that we selected 2 years ago is developing, is using smart material as an element for the surface that can give those feedback. So you can actually get a pad or a tablet in the future that could give, that could represent images that can be, let's say, felt or realized through the fingers. So that is a major technological challenge, specifically for the material that need to be used for the screen. Another important set of projects, it's about hearing devices. Hearing devices and algorithms for hearing devices are very well developed. However, there is a huge dropout rates in use because those hearing devices are not necessarily easy to control or not easy to control, to set up for a particular situations in a particular environment. So there are efforts to make sure that those devices get personalized, and one of these is this project COCOA. So the hearing device, it is actually controlled by thoughts, so that the algorithm can detect which kind of source, acoustic source, should focus on. So it's an extension of the, if you want, of the neural systems, and the idea here is to make sure that the device is responding in a personalized way to the needs in a particular situation, in a particular environment. Now, what is opening up? A new call. It's going to open on the 8th of December, so by the end of this year, and the deadline for the consortia, European players, to apply will be the 25th of April 2017. The challenge of that we will address are a continuation of what we just, what I just provided you. So it will be again about interfaces for communication, specific, and for interactions with the environment. We will have a specific focus on cognitive disabilities. We will also have a specific focus on devices, not only devices that can go, let's say, there is a distinction between invasive and non-invasive devices. So far we have used sensors that are not invasive. Now we are opening up to the possibilities of having devices that are invasive. So the budget will be around 10 million for research and innovation. And it will focus, as I said, on interfaces that have these three elements, that they are intelligent, so they can adapt over time, that they are affordable, the price is one of our issues there, and that are personalizable on the needs of people that have to use. The specific focus, as I said, will be on people with cognitive disabilities, and the idea here is that those interfaces will be able to detect behaviors and intentions, and then mediate the communications with the environment. Attached to that, there is the possibility of submitting proposals that would help extracting information from the brain in a way that, if you want, the intention is made it clear. And it opens up the possibilities of not only, as I said, not only having let's say, non-invasive technologies, but also implantable devices. I started with the Web Accessibility Directive. This will become a law in the near future. There is a dedicated action that we are calling here to develop what we call support systems that would help us in making sure that the websites are accessible. So tools that would help experts in assessing the accessibility level of standards, that would help us in managing a huge volume of content and web pages, and in a way it will combine the human interventions and the automatic interventions on the tools. And the major focus will be in making sure that those tools are accurate. So this is, if you want, it is a kind of activity that complements our policy action on the Web Accessibility Directive. Thank you.